Coming up next on WGXN News at 11, the attack of the Boston Marathon continues to touch people all over the nation, including runners from right here in central Georgia. Also find out what had members of the NAACP rallying outside of Macon City Hall this evening, and new details in the murder case that is over 3 years old. Find out why the death penalty is off the table for Lillian Walker. Good evening and thanks for watching WGXA News at 11. I'm Aaron Leedy. TVs across the country have been fixed on coverage of the bombing in Boston, and as a result, your kids may have questions about what happened. The Middle Georgia Technical College Childhood Development Center celebrated the Week of the Young Child with a parade on the school's campus today. WGXA took the time to find out how you should answer your child's questions about yesterday's attack. The Development Center says this can be a very scary moment for kids and to look for acts of heroism during the rescue process. This was the third consecutive year for the parade, which kicks off a week of activities of fun and learning. Well, hundreds of people gathered for a vigil in Boston tonight to sing songs and light candles one day after the bombing attack on the city's marathon. CNN's Zane Asher is once again reporting for WGXA tonight. Zane, first of all, can you hear me tonight? And second, what's the mood like out there this evening?
Hi there, yeah, I can definitely hear you. Well, the mood here is certainly still tragic.
All right, Zane Asher reporting in Boston tonight. Zane, we appreciate your time this evening. Well, new details in a Peach County double murder, which dates back nearly 3 years today. Macon-Bidd District Attorney David Cook says he's taking the death penalty off the table in the murder trial of Lillian Walker. Walker is accused in the June 2009 stabbing of her aunt Lillian Graves and cousin Agnes Stewart at their Fort Valley home. Today, Cook says Walker has agreed to a bench trial and if found guilty could get life in prison. Now, previously, the victims' families told Cook they don't support the death penalty. Cook says by withdrawing the death penalty notice, it will allow the trial date to be set for later this year. Macon's chapter of the NAACP wants justice for Sammy Davis Jr. Earlier this evening, relatives of Davis marched in front of Macon City Hall. They're angry that Macon police officer Clayton Sutton still has a job after his deadly confrontation with Davis outside of the Pine-on a Kroger back on December 21st. Cheryl Davis, the victim's sister, says today's show of support from the community means a lot to her family.
It lets me know that there's some hope still.
Now, last month, Bibb District Attorney David Cook declined to pursue criminal charges against Sutton, saying the officer had believed his life was in danger when Davis lunged at him. Well, an outspoken critic of the current mayor and the police force hopes to change government from the inside. Irving Martinez announced today that he plans to run for District 3 in the new consolidated Macon-Bibb government. Martinez became a strong critic of the police department after an officer shot an unarmed man to death at a grocery store last year. Martinez sees plenty of room for change.
Well, I decided to run.
Now, during his campaign announcement, Martinez referred several times to a poster behind him as he criticized several other candidates in various races for what he calls a lack of leadership. Former Macon police officers Troy Guidry and John Watts were indicted today. They were arrested for allegedly stealing a tractor while on duty back in January. Both are charged with violation of oath of office, theft, criminal trespassing, and 2 counts of conspiracy to commit burglary. Guidry faces additional charges of criminal use of an article with an altered ID. That stems from a laptop with its serial number removed. He's also accused of stealing a pickup truck and a trailer. A 32-page indictment was handed down today, charging 8 current or former Macon State prison officers, including a deputy warden, in conspiracy to assault inmates. The incidents, dating back to 2010, involved 4 different inmates. The 8 officers were members of CERT, the Correctional Emergency Response Team. The indictment says the officers conspired to retaliate against inmates for prior misconduct, including assaulting officers. The officers also face obstruction charges for providing false and misleading information about the assaults. U.S. Attorney Michael Moore weighing in.
One of the most important things I think that we do.
Now, 3 former CERT members previously entered guilty pleas in related cases before U.S. District Judge Mark Treadwell. The defendants face maximum sentences of 10 years for the civil rights conspiracy charge, 10 years for civil rights violation, and 20 years for each count of obstruction. Well, a former sheriff set to be sentenced in May was arrested last week after allegedly violating his probation. Stacey Bloodsworth was arrested Thursday. He's already pleaded guilty to assaulting inmates at the Wilcox County Jail in 2009. Bloodsworth, his son Austin, and jailer Casey Owens admitted to covering up a jail beating by filing false reports. His sentencing hearing has been set for May 8th. Still to come here on WGXA, students at Georgia's public colleges and universities will see their tuition increase by next summer. We'll tell you how high it's going to go. Also, how the Bibb school system is searching for ways to compensate for a nearly $9 million shortfall. Jeff.
Aaron, no shortfall of warmth in our forecast.
Well, 6:02 this morning marked 2 years since an EF1 tornado struck North Macon. Winds topped 110 miles per hour. The twister was on the ground for about 3 miles and had a width of about 500 yards. It passed through Wesleyan Woods, Forest Hill, Northside Drive, Riverside Drive, and lifted around the Arkwright exit on I-75. Many homes were significantly damaged in the area. Days Inn at Tom Hill Senior also suffered extensive damage.
Watching it closely.
I know you will. Thank you very much, Steph. Well, more news is on the way, but first here's Juju Chang with a look at what's coming up later tonight on Nightline.
Hello and thanks. Later tonight on Nightline, a massive...
The Bibb Board of Education is crunching the numbers for its budget. WGXA's Chase Ambrose explains how members are searching for ways to compensate for an $8.8 million shortfall.
This Tuesday, members of the Bibb Board of Education.
Well, some Westside High School students are getting a jump start on job-seeking skills. A mock interview workshop was held at the school today. Students enrolled in the career, technical, and agricultural education classes got a chance to go through a mock interview for college admissions, scholarships, and employment. They were also required to fill out an application and create a resume.
The importance of this mock interview.
The mock interview workshop targeted 11th and 12th graders to help them prepare for college. And students at Georgia's public colleges and universities will see their tuition increase by $32 to $270 per semester next fall. Board members agreed to raise tuition by the same rates as last year, which are the lowest cost increases for attending Georgia colleges in a decade. Tuition will rise just 2.5% at 27 of the state's 31 public schools for an increased cost of $32 to $83. For most in-state undergraduate students. Mandatory student fees at 16 schools will increase from $6 to $53. Good news out of Houston County this evening. A couple that was reported missing last Saturday has been found. Richard and Tricia King were found in Wilmington, North Carolina. The Kings are in good health and were experiencing some problems with their vehicle. The family has been notified of their location and condition. Well, Georgia Insurance and Fire Safety Commissioner Ralph Hudgens is mourning the loss of Smokey, the state's 5th arson canine. Hudgens' office says the 11-year-old Labrador Retriever passed away this morning after a brief illness. Smokey began working Georgia fire scenes back in October of 2003. From then to this month, Smokey and his handler, investigator Ken Palmer, were involved in over 700 fire investigations around the state. Smokey's specialized training allowed him to determine if accelerants were used to start a fire. This ability led to the arrest of numerous arson suspects, which included arrests for murders that involved arson. Smokey would have been 12 this July. Our medical minute tonight is about skin cancer and young people. New research finds the deadliest form of skin cancer is slowly on the rise in kids, and the likely cause is not what you might think. Here's ABC's senior medical contributor, Dr. Timothy Johnson.
I've had this big one for a while, right?
Up next here tonight, the numbers are in for Perry's Dogwood Festival. Find out why attendance nearly doubled this year. Well, organizers are calling this year's Dogwood Festival in Perry a huge success. Attendance for the two-day event doubled in size this year. That's according to Perry Chamber of Commerce President Stacy Campbell. Right now you're looking at video of the event's first hot air balloon rally this past Saturday. Organizers added the balloon rally to draw more people and boost tourism for the area. Campbell says an estimated 10,000 people attended that event and another 10,000 participated in the downtown festivities. She says the average attendance for the Dogwood Festival is usually around 5,000.
That was a cool event. We were out there and Stacy gave us the invitation. The next few days, a little something for everyone.
All right, something for everyone, like you said.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Steph, and thank you for watching WGXA News at 11 on WGXA. Now stay tuned for Jimmy Kimmel Live.
And WGXA Morning News hits the air at 5:30. He's going away for a while. I'll be back tomorrow at 6. Hope you have a good vacation.
Thank you. I'll see you Monday.